Thought-Knots here. Yeah, I mean, this is one that we didn't particularly play around. I guess we can still make one token with the Saga here. Oh, that's right. The Torpor Orb stops their own Thought-Knots here. Got him. Hello and welcome, everybody. We are back here for a fresh new league, match 1, with the following list that you see on the screen. We are splashing some blue and playing some Froghemoth, and if you are not familiar, this is a 5-mana 4/4 trample haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to that many cards from their graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Froghemoth for each creature, and gain 1 life for each non-creature exiled. And, of course, the blue splash is for these Swan Songs in the sideboard. The 1-mana instant counter-target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. So, of course, these are some innovations that I will, full disclosure, say I did not come up with myself. These are innovations to tackle the current meta. There's lots of blue-red Murktide, which is one of the more difficult matchups for Amulettitan in the current meta, and there's lots of DRC decks, Dragon's Rage Channeler. Froghemoth not only will help us gain some life against these aggressive, more red-oriented decks, but it also helps us keep their DRCs in check, hopefully. So that's the idea. And of course, these Swan Songs are here because they're going to allow us to counter things like Blood Moon, instant speed interaction like Spell Pierces, counter spells, Archmage's Charms, all that kinds of stuff. And that's the main reason for an effect like Swan Song, is it'll help us punch through our opponent's interaction for us in games 2 and 3, especially against Murktide for 1 blue, but it also gives us a efficient answer to an opposing Blood Moon. We'd much rather them have a 2/2 bird than be able to counter our Titan, or them resolving a Blood Moon, or what have you. So that's kind of the idea. And then, of course, we are slightly shifting the mana base here to incorporate these blue cards in the sideboard. We got 3 copies of Botanical Sanctum as our untapped green and blue source of choice. Of course, this is going to allow us to play turn 1 Grazer, just as well as it'll allow us to cast Swan Song at some point in time in the game. And of course, we've trimmed a couple of our forests here to make room for a second breeding pool and some of these slots as well. So we also see the Radiant Fountain, the life gain land, here in the sideboard rather than in the main board, which is a change that I've been rather in favor of. This change, as well as cutting the Crumbling Vestige, makes a lot of sense when you're playing Urza's Saga and have access to double Amulet very frequently against matchups where the Radiant Fountain would otherwise have mattered. Instead, you can just kill your opponent with a Titan, so we're not super worried about gaining life in those matchups. But if we do need the Radiant Fountain, we can bring it in from the board. Otherwise, we got some pretty standard stuff. We got a main board Relic here, which is also interesting to note. Not only is this going to be good against the DRC decks of the world, but this is also going to help us against Living End, things along those lines. It's going to be good against our opponent's Tarmogoyfs, Snapcaster Mages, and in some circumstances when getting an Amulet might not be the best choice, we can get a Relic of Progenitus into play and cycle it and try to get some card advantage that way and try to slow our opponent down a little bit. So I've been fairly impressed with main board Relic of Progenitus in the last couple leagues that I've played with Amulet, so here we are to give it a shot. Of course, I have to mention, like I said before, this is not my own list. This is a list from the user GrilledCheeze. You may be familiar with them from the Amulet Discord, but regardless, GrilledCheeze has been tearing it up recently with these Swan Song and Froghemoth decks, and is partially because of GrilledCheeze's success with the deck that I'm trying it, and hopefully we can see the power of this list today. Personally, I think this list has a lot of potential. I definitely see the appeal of Swan Song. I was considering things like Spell Pierce or Mystical Dispute in the sideboard to try to fight some of these blue access cards like Murktide Regent and Counterspells and stuff out of the blue-red Murktide deck. But of course, the fact that Swan Song is able to answer all of their instant speed interaction while also being an answer to bring in against Blood Moon that fits right in with our plan otherwise, unlike bringing in something like Foundation Breaker and Force, which we might do anyways, in all honesty. But regardless, having something that's more on plan and can either help us to punch through their kind of magic and resolve a Titan, or can just straight up answer a Blood Moon on the stack, whatever the case may be, we'll be happy to have Swan Song. It also improves our combo matchups a bit. Things like Ad Nauseam get a lot easier when we have a 1-mana instant to counter their combo. So hopefully we'll get paired against an Ad Nauseam deck here. And one change that I'm opting to make for myself is including the second Cavern of Souls in the main board. I think that the place where Cavern of Souls tends to be the most relevant is in game 1s, where your opponent isn't going to be having access to things like Aether Gust in order to beat Cavern of Souls in that sense. there are some Aether Gusts still going around, and so being able to win a game 1 against the decks where Cavern of Souls matters could be quite good. Plus, there's no reason not to play it in the main as an untapped green source for turn 1 Grazer here, of course, and it frees up a sideboard slot. So, regardless, this list has a lot of the things that I would want going on in Amulet right here, ready to go. And with that said, I will see you guys in the match. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. See if we can get a good Swan Song pairing. Be on the play. Come on. Yes. Alright. Obviously going to click that yes. Playing against Nilvo DMU. I think that's DMU. DMJ, maybe? I don't know. It's kind of small. Hard for me to read at the moment. And this hand is... it's awkward. No early plays. Turn 3... Dryad or Azusa into potential turn 4 Titan. I don't know. I feel like we can do better than this. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Well, we're missing a bounce land, but we have everything else we would possibly want, so we're definitely going to keep this. I think we're going to need the Explorer to cycle and hopefully hit some extra land drops. I actually am kind of inclined to bottom the Dryad here, as we can go turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 Explorer, turn 3 Titan if we find a bounce land. Otherwise, we might draw more 3-drops or something along those lines. So I think bottoming the Dryad is going to make the most sense here. We'll lead on Botanical Sanctum, I suppose. Get our green source in play. Show our opponent the tech. Show them what's up. See what they're on. Urza's Tower. Well, hopefully we found the bounce land. What can I say? What can I say? Alright, let's go ahead and cast this Explorer and then Titan our opponent next turn and hope that that's good enough, I guess. There's another Titan. Okay. The best possible top deck at this point would be a second Amulet, I'm pretty sure. Then our opponent would be literally just dead. Even through this Matter Reshaper that they're about to play. Yep. Amulet? Come on! Fetch land. Well, you can't have it all. Certainly cannot have it all. And we can haste here by getting Vesuva to copy the Stronghold, and I think we probably should do that. I think we're leaving the bounce land in play as well. So I guess just picking up Garenbrig is fine. We're going to have multiple land drops to make after our Titans have resolved. So I'm not worried about leaving bounce land in hand here. I'd rather have all the mana in play if at all possible. And we are, of course, going to go ahead and haste here because it's free. I guess it could... Our opponent could luck into hitting a Urza land off the top, and they have the third one, and that would punish us for attacking, but I think that's unlikely enough that we should just go ahead and go straight for the value attack here. And I'm going to pick up the Vesuva just because it can copy something that isn't Slayer Stronghold later on down the line and be a little more useful, so we'll swing. Yep. We'll set up Talari West and something else. Maybe even just Valcut. We have Vesuva as a bounce land if we want to pick up and transmute Talari West, and we even have a second Titan ready to go, so maybe we don't need to worry about getting a bounce land here. We could also do Talari West plus Saga. I don't hate that at all. Let's see. Next turn, we're going to be playing Titan, probably using 2, 3, 4, 5. We could play the Garenbrig, activate leaving the Saga up, haste off of the Slayer Stronghold, and still be able to activate the Saga. I think getting Saga here is probably the best play. And, yeah, we're done. Pass it back. This is why we kept Explorer instead of Dryad, although I guess we top decked the bounce land immediately, so playing Dryad on 2 would have been quite good as well, but who knows, maybe that bounce land would have been 1 card down, and we would have had to draw it off the Explorer. They hit Blast Zone. Yeah, that one doesn't really matter as much when our Titan is already in play. 2 mana. Matter Reshaper. I guess that was 3 mana. Eldrazi Temple, you know. Alright. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to be playing another Titan and hasting it and swinging with both and probably doing the double strike and all the good things. So we'll leave a white floating and we'll, I guess, yeah, we leave a white floating. We can't activate Garenbrig here. Whatever. We'll do this. We'll play the Titan. We have to play Vesuva copying the Garrison to haste it, though. It's probably fine. We could also haste it off of Valcut and Selesnya Sanctuary and pick up the Talari West. Well, we could also go for Dryad. We could play land, transmute Solari West, play Dryad, and attack and try to do lethal through Valakut triggers, but they could have Dismember if we went for that route. Let's say we play Titan for the 6 mana. I guess we play Growth Chamber, leave some blue floating, pick up the 2 West, play Titan, leaving, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, leaving the Stronghold up. With 2 blue floating, we get double bounce land, transmute for Dryad, play Vesuva, copy the Garrison. I think we can do both here. At least that's 6, 7, 8. Play Titan, leaving blue, get 2 bounce lands, transmute the Solari West. Yeah, okay, so we can play the Titan and the Dryad and still haste the new Titan here as well, so. Playing out the bouncing here, probably don't need to, but. And this does play around Dismember as well, because they can't Dismember before we have the window of priority. Oh, wait, we don't want to transmute first. All right, let's play the Titan. Opponent concedes. I guess they had enough of us deliberating. But yeah, the line here was going to be play Titan, leaving the 2 blue floating. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 6. Play Titan. Play Titan, get double bounce land. That's 6. I guess in order for that to work out, we would have had to. Whatever. I'm not going to do the math. We already won. My brain is kind of scattered today, apparently. Sometimes I like to bring in Dismember in this matchup, but it's only really relevant against specifically Thought-Knot Seer, so I'm not certain that's very good. Obviously, we want the artifact interaction here for Karn the Great Creator. And obviously we want Ghost Quarter, which is why it's in the sideboard, is because there are Tron decks that still exist, and people still like to play them for whatever reason. Frog is probably not the greatest here, as they don't care about their graveyards, so, and it's also a 4/4, which doesn't line up well against their Thought-Knot Seers, so probably gone on that. The Relic can go. A Cavern can go, as it's like our worst green source, quote-unquote. It doesn't even activate Garen Brig. Saga's very good here. Probably just 1 Grazer. I think 3 Grazers is going to be enough for the effect. I guess we should maybe be trimming Summoner's Pact in case our opponent has Chalice, but. Yeah, probably trimming a Summoner's Pact over the Grazer is better, but. That's fine. If we had a turn 1 Saga, or even a turn 2 Saga, I might consider this hand, but. I mean, this hand is very slow. If we play Explore on turn 2, this would be like a turn 5 Titan, even if we drew Garen Brig, so yeah, I'm not really feeling this hand. Well, we have the turn 1 or turn 2 Saga here. We have Ghost Quarter for interaction, so we're definitely keeping this. We're going to need the bounce land to go along with, hopefully, Amulet of Vigor, that we will hopefully get off the Saga. No guarantees. Probably bottoming the Breeding Pool makes sense. We would rather not have to take the 2 damage for our Forest, and I'm not super concerned about transmuting Solari West, especially considering our opponent could be playing Chalice, so lead on Tower and Chalice. Well, there we go. Amulet. Well, we could lead on Saga Amulet, and the next turn Explore, and then have a turn 3 Titan with double Amulet, and that seems pretty good. I guess it doesn't play around our opponent having Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah. Let's see, if we play Forest, then turn 2 Explore into Ghost Quarter, turn 3, we'd have to draw an Azusa or a Grazer, or a second Amulet, I suppose, in order to cast Titan that turn. I think it's unlikely that the tokens from the Saga Construct, or the Saga Construct tokens from the Saga will matter, so I'm just going to play out the Saga on 1, I think. If they play a second Tron land, we might be required to Ghost Quarter them. They play Wastes. Never mind. Torpor Orb. Yeah, that one's kind of annoying. Force of Vigor would be really good, though. Summoner's Pact that we can't cast into Chalice. I mean, I guess we could cast it, but it wouldn't do anything. Well, we'll Explore and play out the Ghost Quarter here. Sure. And pass it back, and next turn we'll cast Titan. We won't get to search with it, which is kind of tragic. I guess if our opponent was able to cast like a 6-mana Ugin or something, I don't see how they would do that, though. They would have had to play Tron Land this turn, so Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, I mean, this is one that we didn't particularly play around. I guess we can still make one token with the Saga here. Oh, that's right. The Torpor Orb stops their own Thought-Knot Seer. Got him. Right, well, we'll float with the Saga and get second Amulet and slam our 6/6 into play. Seems good. 5 to make sure we don't have any yield set. We're not going to get to search with our Titan, but that's fine, I suppose. I guess we'll leave the Ghost Quarter up as well. Might as well. And since we have second bounce land, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up Forest here. Try to leave as much mana in play as possible. And pass it back. See if our opponent can beat the 6/6. Not blocking their Thought-Knot Seer if they attack, because we don't want to lose our Titan to Dismember. Wastes? Sure. Karn GC. They minus for bridge. Okay. That is pretty annoying. Dryad. Naturally drawing the Dryad is obviously great here. We play land Dryad, second land, attack it, double no wait, we only have one Valakut in this list, I think. We only have one Valakut. So we get Valakut and another land, kill the Thought-Knot and draw a card, and then Titan does combat damage to the Karn to kill it. We could attack them. No, but that wouldn't get the Thought-Knot and the Karn out of play. So I think playing land, Dryad, land, attack, kill the Karn with the Titan damage, and send both Valakut triggers at the Thought-Knot is probably the best line, so that's what I'm going to go for. And we are going to play Saga out here to get some tokens. Value. I guess we could map for Vesuva or something if we absolutely had to. Of course, we need to play out the second land here before we go to combat and attack, because otherwise we won't have 6 lands for the Valakut triggers to do the thing they're supposed to do. You can always yield to this one. Say yes. We want to get Valakut. I guess we could get a fetch land. Nah, I think a second Saga is going to be better. Valakut second Saga seems good to me. We'll just make our alternate, backup plan here of just getting all the construct beats. We'll kill the Thought-Knot. Always yes. Always yield. And then these Amulet triggers aren't doing anything, unfortunately, so yeah, and I guess we're done. That was a pretty good turn. Goodbye, Karn the Great Creator. Our opponent basically still has to just play Ensnaring Bridge here, so I guess the constructs don't really do much against Ensnaring Bridge, but they play map. Okay. Play bridge. Sure. Alright, we'll go to our turn. Yep, setting up the map here to get Vesuva to copy Valakut. Oh, or just draw a Primeval Titan. That's cool too. That's cool too. There's so many ways to approach this matchup, especially with the addition of Saga, so I mean, yeah, let's just kill our opponent. I guess they could have Dismember. That could be their very last card. I think that they probably would have cast it by now if they had it, though. So, yeah, I'm not playing around it. Here's Titan. Oh, Torpor Orb. Man, I'm not playing very well today, am I? Well, we'll play the Stronghold. Send it at them. We'll play the Growth Chamber and pick up the tapped Growth Chamber. Send Valakut at them. We'll attack. Oh, they only have one card, so it's fine. Well, pick up the Growth Chamber and pass it back. Our opponent has to answer our Dryad. And at any point in time, if we just top deck Force of Vigor or Foundation Breaker to kill the bridge, they're also just dead, so They play Tower. Thought Not Seer. Okay. Sure. They don't even get to take our card. Yeah, so we just map for second Valcut, play second Valcut land, and then they'll be at 2, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, or we can draw another Dryad and have lethal that way also. Cool. Well, might as well make a construct here, I guess. And we're going to need the mana otherwise, I think. So I'm just going to let it go. We'll get map. And then this one can resolve, and we'll get Amulet, I suppose. We'll crack map, get Valcut. Or, well, not Valcut, but Vesuva copying Valcut. You know the deal. We'll play this, copying the Valcut, of course, and save targets upstairs. This one's going to need to be always yes, because it's new. We'll float a green, and a green, and a green. I guess we might as well play out a land here first. Doesn't really make a difference. We just have lethal here. So we'll pick up a land, play Dryad, and play land, and our opponent is dead. Admittedly, we drew, like, the perfect, but I feel like it wouldn't have been that difficult to win regardless. Play badly, get rewarded, you know, no big deal. Well, that was interesting. It was fun, to say the least. I probably could have played better. Winning the match anyway still feels good, and I'll see you guys in match 2. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.